Hello, welcome everybody. SF Live breaking news special this morning. I'll be joined in a few short seconds by Rob McLeod. He's president and CEO of Blackwolf Copper and Gold, formerly Heatherdale Resources. They just rebranded and renamed the company, but they finally came out with some drill results, and we're going to talk to Rob about those. What do they mean? They confirm obviously their thesis, and Rob's going to give us some more color on that. But before we switch over to our friend Rob McLeod, let's be reminded to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and make sure to turn on that bell notification as well. As we do all our interviews live, you do have an advantage by watching and following us live, and turning on that bell notification gives you or sends you a push message to your phone or browser directly, and you won't miss it. Now, let's switch over to our friend Mr. Rob McLeod and talk about the results. Rob, wonderful. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. These are the type of mornings that I really live for, Kai, man, when you get to put out some spectacular news like today. And I should also actually start out by saying, hey, all of your viewers can follow me on Twitter as well, too. I'm at Goldfinder12.
Exactly.
For amazing content, including a lot of dog photos.
Exactly. Now we got you tagged here on Twitter as well, so people make sure to do that because Rob adds a lot of value there as well. But you've been waiting for these results for a while. You ended the drill program right around Christmas. So give us an update, or not an update, just tell us about the results.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wrapped up a drilling program last December, and for most of us in the exploration space over the past year, the backlogs from assay labs have affected us all. The thing is with massive sulfide drilling, you know when you're in it and when you're not, and so we knew that we had some really good assays coming for a while. So that could really affect our plans going forward. That said, we did block out these results when we closed our most recent $5.4 million financing. So you don't want to have any material news coming in when you're doing a raise. So we received them, compiled them, and these are some of the highest grade copper, gold, silver, and zinc intersections on the property in an entirely new area. So, well, not a new area, it's where the old timers used to mine, but it's a kilometer away from current resources and really opens up the expansion potential for this deposit.
Okay. Well, run us through some key highlights, some of the key holes, run us through some grades.
Sure. So basically there's two, in addition to the results themselves, the key finding from this drill program was this new geological interpretation that it was actually under the previous management and some really good geologists, a master's student named Brian McNulty, and Dr. Jim Oliver, who's, I believe one of the better structural geologists on the West Coast here, doing a bunch of precise radiometric age dating, interpreted that the volcanic sequence, which hosts the massive sulfides at Niblack, is overturned. Now, if you just had kind of a layer cake of stratigraphy, that wouldn't really mean too much, that it's upside down, but the deposit is also folded. So this really changes the interpretation in how you step out. And for example, it's really basic here at Niblack, is that it was thought to be an antiform, which is like an upside down letter U. But in fact, it's the other way. It's a synform. So we drilled fans of holes through that synform. So we hit both limbs of the fold, as well as a couple of holes, or one hole hit the hinge. But we hit numbers like 7.6 meters of 5.2% copper, 2.7 grams per ton gold, 145 grams per ton silver, and 6.5% zinc. So great polymetallic numbers at a copper equivalent using long-term metal prices. That's about 10.75% copper. Another intercept, even better grade than that, 3.1 meters of 9.4% copper, 4 grams gold, 76 grams silver, 3.2% zinc, or 14.3% copper. But multiple intersections, drilling down to over 125 meters below surface. These are near surface intercepts, and we're absolutely stoked about it. So it's a different style of massive sulfide than what has been seen elsewhere on the property. But these really high grades, we believe, will not only go into a new resource, but ultimately would really help the economics of a future mine here. And we definitely will be stepping out along strike and continuing to chase this fold in this area. But in the meantime, we're waiting for some assays from the big zone on the property, the lookout zone, where there's 5.2 million tons of indicated and 2.4 of inferred. We've been doing some big down dip and along strike step outs. So we're waiting for some assays from that zone. So it's going to be really busy news flow.
So you raised just some money. So how are you planning to spend that money? So how is that being allocated?
The recent raise, of course, will go towards more drilling, but we are working on some other corporate development opportunities, not only in Alaska, but also in northwestern British Columbia, which really is sort of my stomping grounds and our management team. So we will be looking at some of these new opportunities. So hopefully we can pull those off fairly soon. But otherwise, it's going to be, as the former governor and vice president of Alaska said, drill, baby, drill.
Fantastic. Following up on those results, of course, what are the next steps now to look at, you're drilling at the lookout zone right now, but to follow up the results from today, what are the next steps here? And you mentioned you want to bring it into a resource. What do you need to do to get it into a resource? Is the spacing already sufficient?
Yeah, so there was about a dozen historic holes, recent historic, in the 2000s, and a couple of old ones. This was the original mine that operated from 1908 to 1912. Coupled with these, there should be enough to get an initial inferred resource. We will be doing an update this quarter of the resources throughout the property. There's basically 3 drill programs that have been completed since the last one, which was done in 2011. So, and then following up, chase it along strike on surface. There's roads in and around this area, so we have a track-mounted drill that we can also pull apart to either take underground. We have 2 drills on site actually, or we can fly it with a helicopter to other areas of the property. But we had, as part of this initial phase under this new management team's program out there, is we had these high priority areas to test. One is this Niblack mine area to validate the geological model and to block out some of these higher grades. But what's really going to materially change is some of this area in and around the main deposit. If we can keep on chasing it to depth, because that's where we can add a lot of tonnage quickly. And then finally, this summer, we want to get some IP geophysics done. This type of massive sulfide responds really, really well to geophysics. Actually, we see a lot of magnetite, which is obviously magnetic, in these recent results. That geophysics should really help us with some of these other targets. Like we have the Amazon area, which is a couple kilometers to the west from here, where there's a 19-meter historic intercept of over 6% copper. So we've got a lot of high-grade areas that we want to follow up this year.
Yeah, we had to wait 5 months for initial results. Can we expect other results to come in quicker?
Oh yeah, much quicker now. The most of the lab, especially for this project, we don't have the seasonal challenges that most North American projects do during the winter season. So the labs are much quieter. So we're expecting sort of a 40-day turnaround for upcoming drill results. And additionally, most of the labs have staffed up and really increased their capacity. So this year, we shouldn't expect to see the months and months delay that have plagued not only us, but other companies operating in the Pacific Northwest.
Great. We got 2 questions actually via the YouTube chat. I'm just going to ask them real quick, and maybe you can just quickly answer as well, so we don't explode the format here for the breaking news special. One question is, of course, infrastructure around the mine. Just want to infrastructure and milling around there, and also how many months can you drill per year?
So on the last one, we were drilling last December. You can drill year round. Our camp facilities, and we have a full production size underground decline that we've rehabilitated and we've had 2 rigs going under there, so you can operate year round. When it comes to processing, this particular site, we're located right on tidewater, but there is no spot to put a mill and a tailings facility. So we are looking at some outside areas in the region where we could barge ore. This used to be a really common thing to do 100 years ago, and it's very common to do in the forestry business. You take the natural resource and you take it to a better area to process. So that's one of our next steps, is really to find a spot that will be able to take and process the ore. So we've got one in mind that we're negotiating on.
Sounds very good. All right, next news flow, next catalysts, real quick, and then we can wrap this up here. What can we expect next in terms of news?
So there will potentially some more corporate development stuff, but really it's going to be continued results. So more drill results from the underground drilling, and initiation of next phases of work. But really, it's going to be a results-driven quarter for the company.
Fantastic. Rob, thanks so much for joining us. This was SF Live Breaking News Special, and we talked about the Blackwolf Copper and Gold drill results from this morning. If you haven't seen them yet, either go to the website, blackwolfcopperandgold.com, find them on Twitter, co.ca. They're everywhere. Make sure to read them. Quite excited. Of course, we are shareholders in the company, so of course we are allowed to be excited. And make sure to follow us here on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Also, turn on the bell notification as well. That way, you do get a notification when we go live, and you do have a bit of an advantage watching us live instead of just the recording. Thanks so much for joining us, Rob.